Renegade Report. This isn't your Renegade Rundown, your regular episode. This is a really special episode. I believe we've got about 120 members. Maybe we'll get some more. We'll see how it goes. The chat section is already popping. As always, down below, we've got my beautiful co-host, Jen Santee, aka Jen Knoll 2013. You can find her at Jen Santee 1890 on X. And to my right, Struggle Made, my guy, Freddie Stevenson, the star, I believe, executive producer of Trials to Triumph, the movie that really kind of swept the country by nation. I believe it had a limited release in theaters. You can get it in Tubi, and we'll let Freddie let us know all the different platforms. Obviously, a national champion as a freshman at Florida State in 2013, went on to have a great career as a fullback. Man, thank you so much for joining us. What's going on, brother?
Very much. I appreciate y'all having me. I know we've been talking about it for a minute. I'm happy to finally be sitting down with
For sure. What's James talking about? How many reps? How many reps to 225?
you. Oh, yeah. Shoot, I'm trying to get 50 by April, man.
Okay, heard it here first. 50. I'm waiting for that video to drop. That's getting after it. So, I guess to start off, I was just talking to you in the production meeting. Like, we talk Florida State on this channel nonstop. Obviously everything going on the timeline with Florida State getting the snub, the conference realignment, the big portal stuff, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I just wanted to start off and just give you a chance to, speak on your story and get to find out a little bit more about yourself. Maybe some things that didn't make the outtakes of some of the stuff that's out there. But I guess, if you want to start from the beginning, I don't know where you want to start, but I guess just Trials to Triumph, what that was all about for the people that haven't seen it, that we need to get out there to see it, and just, I guess, what called you to take this path of, you know, uh, motivational speaking uh, film production, etc.
Well, yeah. So ultimately, the journey, this new transition, this new field I'm working in, it came after I was trying to figure things out when I was transitioning from the NFL, and I'm one of the few that I can actually say it didn't work out for me in the NFL, but it wasn't because of ability. A lot of people they get pushed out the NFL, they just can't play anymore. For me, just seeing the high level that I was playing at, and a lot of different things that just weren't going in my favor, I don't know, I kind of just looked at the situation. I was like, man, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm meant to be doing something else, and I had that mindset early on in the process, just going through different workouts and trying to get back in the league, a developmental league. Everything I was trying to do just kept folding on me. I was like, man, maybe I'm meant to be doing something else. And just remember going through that process and, being in a dark place and my fiance kind of telling me to share my story, just my humble beginnings and a lot of things that I had been through. And I truly believe a lot of things have built my character up and, kind of shaped me for this moment. And I started to kind of see it throughout the process. And once I started seeing it, I was like, man, let me share my story. And if it can help a guy that's struggling with that transition after the game is no longer, then I'm all for that. And I didn't ultimately, I didn't expect the story, the book to do what it did. I believe I released it in 2019 and it wasn't really doing anything. Florida State fans appreciate No Nation. Y'all will support it. Like, y'all made sure everybody went out and bought this book. But it was just no fans and, some family and friends. But then in 2021, I came back out with, I think, the ebook. And so it was kind of like a rebranding of it. And it
Mm-hmm.
literally just took off out of nowhere. I'm talking about my books in China, Germany, everywhere. Like, and this is when the pandemic hits hard. So I
Yeah,
literally
perfect
have people in
timing.
my DMs. Yeah, I have people in my DMs hit me up that never follow sports, reaching out to me like, "Man, I just read your book," and I didn't understand how real it was until a guy reached out to me. I guess he just lost his job. His wife left him, and he was about to take his life. It's like, man, I started reading your book. I couldn't stop reading it. So I got to the end. I'm crying tears. I was about to take my life today, and your book stopped me from taking my life. I'm like, okay, this is different. I got to keep telling my story, and it's crazy because at that point, when the book wasn't having success, I was trying to figure out like, man, maybe this isn't it. Maybe I have to go do something else. I'm doing a little speaking. The book hasn't really had the success I wanted to, and then it just starts blowing up. Then you kind of fast forward, have a few film producers reach out, wanting to work together and, kind of turn this into a documentary. Then ultimately, we ended up getting that done. But with the documentary, what I wanted to do is not just share my story. I just wanted to give people a glimpse into the lives of other people from all different type of backgrounds because I played sports. A lot of people aren't going to have the opportunity to make it to the level that I made it to in sports. It's just the reality. So I wanted to find some people that your everyday people that they can relate to from all different type of backgrounds, so that they can watch the film and be like, I'm going through that right now. So all these different people we have in the film, it was strategically picked out um, for for that exact reason, and ultimately because I wanted to branch off of it and continue to share people's stories. But I believe we released the documentary in 2022. It was released independently in 2022, and I remember just going through the process. For people that don't understand the independent grind, you're putting a lot of your own money up. And so,
Yeah.
like, if you truly believe in it, go put your money up if you truly believe. That's where we're at with it. And I just remember people telling us, no, going through the process, like, man, could you invest in this story? Like, I have a book to show you, like, evidence that there's a market for this. People still didn't want to invest in it. It's like, all right, I believe in it this much. I'm going to put some money in with it. Then you have some other people that are willing to put money in with it. We partnered up together and we released it independently. Then within less than 3 months, it gets purchased and picked up for worldwide distribution. So in 2023, it releases on Amazon Prime, Tubi, Apple TV, like Vudu, all of these different platforms. And just from taking that chance and knowing, believing that there was something out there greater for me just because of the things that I was facing. I truly believe that my story was meant to, to help people out there, and not just my story. On the platform with the platform that I created, allowing other people to share their stories. So that's kind of what happened last year, and just from that opportunity, a lot of other opportunities have presented themselves, and yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year. There's some things we can't talk about, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year for sure.
Spear
Oh,
Addicts
I
has a
can.
good comment here saying Freddie is one of the realest. Um, I'm sorry, I can get to it later. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh no, I was gonna say. I mean, I bought your movie a few years ago, and I watched it, and I think I might have like tweeted at you and said, "Hey, I just downloaded this. It was so great." And I'm pretty sure you responded. I mean, I could be wrong about that whole thing and made it up in my head, but I don't think so. I think your movie was so good. It was so good. It was so impactful. It was so amazing. I actually gave it to some family members like as Christmas gifts. So I bought a couple extras and sent them the link. It was just it embodies everything that I love about sports. So I just needed to tell you that. And I wanted my family members to all understand that because I'm looked at kind of weirdly in my family because obviously being the female, I mean, my mom only has girls. We only have girls in our family, but I'm the only sports one. And I just always want them to know, even though they all, I mean, they did gymnastics and cheerleading, and I get it, those are sports too. Um, so, but I just, I wanted them to understand my love for the game and my love for all the players of the game, and you kind of embody that in your movie. And I kind of just wanted to let you know that it's just amazing.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. You actually just reminded me. I forgot through the process.
Yeah.
Because you said you bought it for a lot of different people. That made me go
Mhm.
back to when we were trying to sell them as NFTs. I don't know if you guys remember the whole NFT phase. That was
Oh
hot.
yeah.
The NFT and then the crypto crash, and that completely went left. So during the process of trying to release this thing independently, the whole platform, the whole plan behind it just completely folded. So now in the middle of
Wow.
it, it's like, dang, this can completely go left and just not work. So now you don't even know what to do. It's like, listen, I've been doing this my whole life. We not giving in now. I'm gonna find a way to get this done. So it's like, all right, let's go back to the drawing boards and figure out how we're gonna do this. And just ultimately, it's like, man, at this point, went all in with the NFT streaming platform. We can't do that. We won't be able to go have a crazy PR campaign. It's not gonna happen at this point. Um, but let's put this thing out. What I'm gonna do is one thing I've never been scared to do: jump in everybody's DMs and say, "Go check this thing out." Worst thing you can do is say no, and
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird. Like some of the people that I've had the opportunity to connect with, you have people in the film industry like, man, I can't. My agent can't get in contact with them. I can't get in contact with them. How'd you get them to respond? Like, man, I just message people. It ain't anything special. If they either say yeah, they say no. Like go back to a few years ago, I guess when I was doing the podcast thing, I know he's not the hottest guy in the FSU world. I jump in Kirk Street's DMs. Just like, I don't know. It's just, I'm fearless as far as that goes. The worst thing people can say is no. I come from the bottom. So it's like, let's do it. Let's go. If I'm doing it, I'm going all in with it. And at that point, when the NFT platform kind of went downhill, it's like, nah, I'm gonna still figure a way out. We're too far into this process. I believe that I'm doing something that's gonna make a difference. So we're not letting up. And less than 3 months, it was purchased and picked up.
Wow, man. And where I was going earlier when I put Chris's comment up here, it said something to the effect of like you're the realist, and whatever you want to call it, suffering from realness. I think that's the thing that kind of connects when you watch it. I think in this day and age, we're so caught up with social media and everybody's trying to put out an image of themselves, and even us, we're trying to build a business here with this podcast. We're trying to be successful. There's a certain image you have to uphold, but the podcast was just raw. It really cut to the truth of how you guys were feeling. It's something you don't see a lot of guys, especially with guys, to be out there like that and to see a couple of guys, like Terrell Lyons and Orion Green, null faces that you might have not thought about for a couple years, but were just like big time guys. If you were a Florida State guy back around 2010, 11, when all those guys were coming into Jimbo Fisher's program. So if you haven't seen it, get out there, Trials of Triumph. I don't know what you're doing. If you're a member of this channel, you probably already have, but it'll be in here when we go worldwide with the release of this thing. But man, that really is awesome. You talked about navigating that and figuring out how to get the money and all that stuff. How hard was it to find people that you could trust? You talked about kind of hitting people's DMs and stuff, but I mean, to get a book written is no easy task. So I'm sure you had to have people along the way help you. Like, how does that? I saw you got baptized the other day. I know you have faith there, so
Oh wow.
I guess just figuring the process out and how to trust people. And it's a business that's pretty laden with, insignias of devil this, and, you see all the videos online. So just to be able to
Yeah,
keep it so
yeah.
positive and have that message all the way through and do your thing and have the success, it's like a miracle. It's like pretty awesome. So I'm just curious, how some of that went for you.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately for me, a lot of the things, as far as, with the industry, a lot of things that drive most people, it don't matter to me. So if it's not ultimately, what aligns with my principles, my moral compass, all of those things, then we're not getting it done. I don't care how much money you're throwing at me. It just that's never been the case. That's never been the case for me because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be able to look at myself in the mirror and say, like Chris said earlier, he's one of the realest. I wouldn't be able to say Freddie, like, man, you fake, man. I don't know who this is. I'm looking at. Like, I couldn't live with myself, and that's ultimately the thing. Like, I know we all come on social media. Some people play a character on social media, but how do you feel in real life? I wouldn't have been feeling myself like that's just me. I stand on what I stand on, and I may miss some business opportunities because of it, but I'm at peace. Like ultimately, I'm gonna get more than enough, more than what I deserve, and more what's coming for me. I'll never have an issue as far as that goes. Like God's always gonna provide for me. So, um, as far as navigating in the industry, this is gonna be a crazy story. I believe y'all are the first platform I'm gonna tell it to.
Let's go.
Um,
You heard it here.
so on the as far as the film goes, in the process of this project, people got to understand that, especially being new and especially these young athletes, coming up in the NIL age and having the opportunity to be paid, these agents are coming in. People are going to take advantage of the fact that they know you're naive to a lot of information.
Facts.
and they're banking on the fact that you don't have the information. So coming into the documentary process, you have these guys that have worked with Warner Brothers and a lot of these top people in the industry. They're banking on the fact that this guy's going to be so excited to have a documentary made, have a major production made, have an opportunity to make some money and take care of his family, that we can hit him across the head. He doesn't know how Hollywood works. So initially throughout the process, there was a point in the contract, they tried to write it up to where I get no money from my story. And then it was basically a 360 deal to where anything I put out from my story, they make all the money. And yeah, so and I'm like, hold on, I'm reading it, and it's not like it's any crazy terminology where I can't understand it. I'm reading it, and then I send it to my lawyer. I'm like, hold on, am I tripping? He's like, nah, you're not tripping. So then it's like, all right, y'all want to play games. Now you got to switch the whole contract in my favor. Y'all put up the money, but still, even though you put up the money, I got to get the biggest percentage now, and you got to take the L regardless. So you want to put the film out or you don't. We're deep into the process now. You don't put your money up, so now you either just throwing money away or you're going to continue the process. And I was willing to bet on the fact that they were going to continue going through with the process, and I just kept it business. Like I could have got in my feelings and been like, nah, man, I'm not doing business with them. They're shady. But ultimately, at this point, it's bigger than me. So I'm doing something that's going to touch people, and this message, what I'm trying to build with this brand, it's going to be something that I can continue to do every single year, telling different stories across the country. So I can't let them be the reason that I don't go through with this, and I won't work with them after this. So that's the crazy story that kind of happened in between, but it happens, man. That's the industry. People gonna try to hit you across the head, and it's not just the film industry. It happens in every industry. People gonna try to take advantage of you if they know, like, if you're dating somebody and they think they can hit you across the head,
Oh
they're gonna
man.
hit you across the head. Like nobody's safe. Like if people think they can get over on you, they're gonna try to do it.
Facts. There's no doubt about that. Jen?
No, I just yeah, like what made like do you ever just go back and think about like any choices you made during I mean, I know just being a Florida State show, like let's discuss like recruiting. Was it always Florida State or was there anybody else for you?
I never liked Florida State growing up, so that's kind of a funny story. I grew up a Miami fan.
That's a new
Um,
one.
yeah, I grew up a Miami fan, so that was a school that if they offered, I was going to them regardless of the situation. But my junior year, I had an injury. Doctors were telling me it was career ending, and everybody was backing off. But then my highlight tape dropped in for about 3 months. I was the hottest dude in the country. I go from my junior year, nobody knowing me, to being offered by everybody. Like literally, like it was like a movie scene. And while I'm being offered by everybody, I can't even get out the bed. I'm in the bed for 5 months. My leg elevated, having to be homeschool. Teachers are having to come to my
Man,
house
this
and
is
bring me like, yeah, like crazy stuff.
it's like a common
They're
theme
calling me
for
every
you.
single
You
day.
get some stuff in the bank and then something happens and then bam, sorry to cut you off, but that's awesome. Sorry.
Yeah. That's how it goes. But throughout that process, I think for me, and it's funny because Texas A&M was a school I wanted to go to because Miami was playing games. I remember I went. This is around the time where the doctors are letting me walk again. I had on the boot and they had me on the crutches, and they told me I can remove the crutches and just walk with the boot. So Miami invites me up for a visit, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep the crutches to see how bad they want me. So I go up there and they had me crutching around the whole day. I'm like, nah, I ain't going to this school. I don't care. So fast forward, because a lot of teams that they were still scared of, thinking I wasn't going to recover back from the injury. It took a little time. But then my senior year, I had like 133 tackles. I forgot how many sacks, a few interceptions, and everybody's like, all right, he's going to be able to play. So here comes Miami trying to, hey man, this is your favorite school. I was like, man, I'm signing with Florida State. Like it's not happening.
Oh,
It's over
But
with now.
before we even get to the Florida State part, Texas A&M was my school that I wanted to go to. This is when they're making a change to the SEC, and what got me was the Johnny Manziel stuff. Like and people don't know the reason that I was so in on Texas A&M is because I forgot the coach's name.
Kevin
Summer.
someone.
He used to be the coach at USF a few years prior. He was even at FSU a few years ago. What's his name?
Okay, was also at A&M, also at USF, also at Florida State. That is a good
He
one.
he was at
Running.
USF when I was what's his name?
What position was he?
I think it was a DN or linebacker coach. Then the A&M, I think it was a DC. Doesn't matter.
It's
He
not
looks
Brad
similar to the
Lawing.
guy
He's
from
defensive line.
Nah, not Brad Lawler. It's the he looks similar to what's the guy in the Terminator, the silver guy. He looks similar to him.
Oh my gosh. I'm drawing a blank, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
That
I
dude's
forgot
like
his
he
name,
made
but
the perfect robot.
he literally came in. I'm gonna find his name. Hold on, Texas A&M
Coley?
coaching staff. Huh?
Not
It's not
James
Coach
Coley.
Coley,
No,
right?
because
No,
he went
not
to
Coley.
Miami.
Coaching staff.
Um,
Let me see. 2012. Let me see.
2012.
I'm pulling up the staff, so I'm
We're
finna
gonna be
find out.
mad when we
I know.
figure it out.
I'm gonna be so mad.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't remember his name. Only person name I remember exactly is the person that gave me my first D1 offer, and that's Coach Alan Suber from UMass. This is when I don't even think I'm going to college, and
Do you
that's
mean
the
Greg
one that
Hudson?
no.
Greg Hudson? No.
Mm-mm. He's I'm gonna find his name, go through it. But anyways, we'll get to it, and once I get to his name, I'll
Yeah.
let y'all know. But he was a coach at USF my freshman year in high school, and I was on JV and my freshman year because I didn't come from the area I went to Bartow High School and I wasn't from Bartow, so coming in nobody knew who I was, so it's kind of prove yourself type of deal. So I played the first year on JV, and I was like, man, this kid's too good for JV. Let's move him up to varsity. So I remember on varsity, my first game they put me in at the end of the game. The first 4 plays, I get 4 tackles, and I remember the coach bringing me in with the
Jim
USF
Levitt?
staff. Huh?
That's it.
Jim
Jim
Nah,
Levitt?
Levitt.
nah.
Sorry.
He was at USF
Mike
though.
Canales?
Okay.
He was at USF. He was at Texas
Mike
A&M. And he
Canales
was at
was at USF and Texas A&M, but I've never even heard that name.
This coach was on the staff. He was on the coaching staff when Willie Taggart was here. He was one of the defensive coaches.
That's Jim Levitt. That's Jim Levitt, I think.
No, not Jim
Is it
Levitt.
not? Oh,
No.
damn.
Damn it all to
Ugh.
hell.
All right. Sorry.
I'll drop it. I'm bad about that. I get a name stuck in my
They,
head. I'm trying to figure it out.
they had somebody on Twitter is gonna help us out. But my coaches brought me in to meet with them, and I'm a freshman. I haven't really played varsity that much outside of this game. And my coach was like, listen, this guy's gonna be one of the best players in the country by the time he's a senior.
It's in the chat. It's Mark Snyder. Sorry.
Mark Snyder, that's his name.
Jesus
There we
Christ.
go.
Excuse my language.
Yeah. So Mark Snyder, I met with him my freshman year. I remember my coach, Coach Killitz at the time, brought me in to meet with him. And he's like, man, this is gonna be one of the best players in the country in 4 years. Come back for him. And he was like, we're gonna see, we're gonna see. And they came back. He was like, I know you remember me. Like, yeah, I remember you. And just from there, that relationship we had already built, I was like, man, this is the school I'm going to. But my mom was like, man, he's not leaving the state of Florida. It's not happening. Not leaving the state of Florida. She wouldn't even. They would call, Texas A&M. I'm talking about going all out in recruiting. They coming to a job doing everything. It's like, nope, I'm not talking to y'all. She at work, like folding the arms, like I'm not talking to y'all. We on the phone. Nope, hang up the phone. I'm not talking to you. You're not leaving Florida. And you understand now, what we went through growing up. You understand why she didn't want me to leave. Like very, close family. So I was like, Mom, give me 3 to 4 years. We're gonna make it happen for you. Like 3 to 4 years. But she wasn't having it. But yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to go. But ultimately, we had to switch, and Florida State was one of the other schools in the state of Florida that stood by me even through my injury. So that's what we ended up rolling with them.
I love it. Now the whole chat's making fun of us. Even there's like people that are 5 minutes behind, so they're now just getting to the part where they're realizing that Chris told us it was Mark Snyder. Apparently told us like 5 minutes ago. So get your jokes in, guys,
Yeah,
but y'all are
same,
behind
man.
too. So, but that just goes to show we're kind of locked in. We're having a great conversation because I wasn't even looking at. There's like literally 30 Mark Snyders in a row. Mark Snyder, Mark Snyder, Mark Snyder. But
Yeah,
anyways, no,
sorry
that's
guys,
pretty
I
awesome.
wasn't checking it. I was listening to Freddie. I'm sorry.
So I guess when exactly did you commit, and what was it like after you committed? I mean, was it just a dream? I'm sure there were some rough steps. I guess what was it like between committing and getting there freshman year?
Because that was with
Yeah,
Jimbo,
so
right? I mean, it was with Jimbo, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
with Jimbo.
Yeah.
I came up in I think I came up for a visit in June um of the summer, maybe what 2012. Came up in a visit in June, and this is an unofficial visit. And I was just like, and this is when I'm telling you, I'm not even really rocking with Florida State. I'm like, I ain't going to school. Like, when Miami hit my line? So I go there and I was like, dang, I don't know, something just feel right about this place. And I remember hitting that line. I'm like, yo, I'm coming here, and I committed on the 4th of July. I remember it being all over Bleacher Report, everything. Like, man, you know. But yeah, I knew I was gonna come. I shut down like every visit that I was gonna have. I shut it down. I knew wasn't even the point of playing with it.
facts, man. And it was. I mean, what was that freshman year like? I mean, you got some stats. I'm not sure. Did you get to? You didn't redshirt your freshman year, did you?
No, I got
You just
I
played 4 years
played
straight out.
mm, yeah, I think I got a touchdown in the game against our first home game against Nevada.
That was before the
Um,
4 game rule, wasn't it? I
yep.
think it was before they instituted that. Yeah. So you were playing. What was that like to come straight in and be a part of a national championship team, and not just any national championship team? I mean, not that anybody in the chat doesn't know. I mean that every single starting position was held down by a dude who went on to start at some point in time in the NFL, which is like pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy, especially for me, because I at my high school, people that don't know, like we never made the playoffs. Like I'm talking 3 to 7 every year. Like after every game is, yeah, Bartow gets beat by 50, but Freddie had 30 tackles. Like that's the whole motto, and like that's the whole story every week. And then you go to Florida State, it's like, shoot, we beating people by 30 every game, 30, 40, 50. And shoot, everybody's gonna play early in the game, and everybody's gonna shine. And that was just a special time. I'll tell everybody, I call that team like I tell people about it, like anybody, you cut that practice tape on, anybody can get it. I'm talking about you got threes on the field, embarrassing ones. Like it was those practices were epic. And you knew a lot of those guys were gonna go on to be special. It was different practicing at that time. And man, if you could see some of that practice tape, the games were nothing
Oh
compared to the
man.
practice tape.
Oh, that year especially. I mean, like you said, y'all were going out there. The average margin of victory was like 40 something points or something crazy. And then you had guys, freshmen, like y'all's class, recruiting really picked up to where it was a smaller class, but just all 5 and 4 star studs or people like you with 50, 60 touchdowns. You have Jalen Ramsey as a freshman. Like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. But I'm sure Jen has a question. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hog all the questions.
Mm-mm. No, I just I kind of was just going into the recruiting aspect of it. How did that feel? You answered that. Um, so as somebody who grew up a Miami fan, how does it feel to like own them in your generation? Was that fun?
Yeah, I mean, it was cool, but at the same time, I'm gonna be real. It's like, man, shoot, we just sitting back watching Dalvin do his thing. So
No,
we
no,
get at the
right?
Dalvin. Yeah, I get at the Fo helped us accomplish that because nobody else really factored into that outside of him. Like Fo
Well,
took
you
over
blocked
those
for
games
him.
and
You
kept,
blocked for him. You blocked for him.
Some big ones
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
But
So
he
you
was
did factor
different though
into
for
that.
sure. But I'll say yeah, never losing to him. It's a whole different feeling. Like when I remember the first time we lost to Miami after our class left. I was watching the game at I think
Ugh.
Buffalo Wild Wings, and literally this. I think it was the game where I don't know if it's Amon Richards. He scores at the end of the game. Tate had just
Yeah, it was
James
a
Black was the
last minute
QB.
touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah, James Blackman is the QB. He throws a touchdown to Tate late, and then there's a last minute TD. And then everybody immediately, all the Florida State fans just hop up. They're like, "Well, Freddie never lost to y'all, so we ain't work." Like, I was like, all right, but that feeling like it's different. Like, of course, you want your team to win, but man, we never lost to y'all, so I don't have any type
Mm-mm.
of respect in my heart for y'all. Like, I
Good
don't.
for you. I love that. I love that. I
Yeah,
love it.
7 years straight. That was a good time to be watching Knowles and of course playing. But yeah, Dalvin was something else. I always remember when I think
God,
about
he was
Miami and
so
Dalvin,
good.
I think about
He's
that
still
one
so
game.
good.
Yeah, I think about that one game at Doak. I don't know what the heck was with the field that night. It was like sand or something. Like they had put sand down because every time he was going, that's all you see on the highlight tape is just sand kicking up behind his feet, and Miami dude's just falling by the wayside. And then of course his hamstring. So yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, no doubt there's some highlights out there of you just absolutely like I believe ending some dudes' college football's careers on some of those lead blocks, and you had plenty of touchdowns and stuff yourself, my friend. So definitely awesome
So
times.
one question I had for you, Freddie, was about the Clemson play.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Look, I know that you didn't do it, and I know this was absolutely the ACC refs like spiking up Clemson for whatever run they went on, which was total ass. But tell me your thoughts on that play, because I feel like you and Dalvin, just correct me if I'm wrong, right? They called you guys for what was it? A clip, right? A clipping?
The original call on the field was a legal block below the waist.
Yep.
I think
Chop
that's what they
block, I
Okay.
called on it.
guess.
Yeah, chop block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, at the time, I just remember the play playing itself out, and then I felt like the ref just waited to see what happened before he threw the flag.
Mm-hmm.
It was, it's a weird moment still to this day because that was a huge game. You see them
Yeah.
going to win the national championship that
Oh
year,
yeah. Yeah.
and not only did we have a chance to beat, we were dominating them in the game at that point.
Oh yeah.
We were about to go up by two scores, and that completely shifted the momentum of the game. And I don't get into the whole blaming refs thing because there were a lot of other opportunities, to win that game. But I just in that moment, like you got it's like, man, what's going on? Like
I
what's really happening?
What was like to hear
what
Jimbo like really take up for you guys after that? How fired up were y'all watching that press conference?
I wouldn't say I was
Because he
he
fired
took
let
up.
him
I was like,
a
have
man,
it.
we want to
fine.
win.
He took a
I
fine,
want to
didn't he?
win.
He
We
took
felt
a
like we felt
fine.
like something was stolen from us. Like,
Yeah.
he had,
It
he had the right
was.
to be, upset, but it's like, man, that's cool and all, but I'd rather have that win, and
Facts.
that's ultimately the thing that left a bad taste in my mouth, especially for me, because the whole entire season I didn't like cutting people at all. I wanted to stay up just because it was on film so much, me chopping guys and them landing on their necks and stuff. So guys aren't even really trying to take me on anymore. I'm like, man, coach, I can't I no, I gotta stay up. I can make the block stand up.
Just
Um
to be clear, we are R rated. You can say whatever you want. You don't have to worry about anything like that. So, like Chris says, if you want to say fuck
I
the
should have worn a shirt
ACC,
today, man. I
you're
should have
more than
worn
welcome to say fuck them.
another
So
Capitol shirt. But
that's right.
But nah, like so the whole year they were telling me you got to cut guys more. Like that gives us an opportunity, even if you throw and they jump out the way, that helps us out even more. So after that moment with Clemson, it's like, man, my mind's like, I don't even know if I want to throw cut blocks anymore at that point. So that kind of was a huge adjustment for me mentally over the course of the season too. Is like, and they understood it. Like, man, coach, we just gonna have to. I'm gonna get it done, but I ain't really going down and throwing at guys at this point.
Yeah, I get it. I mean,
Well,
it's like you burn me, fool me once, shame on me, fool
yeah.
me twice, or however the fuck you say it. Sorry, Jen, go
I
ahead.
just wanted to say I wanted to jump off my couch. I was like, you are not charging him with this. This is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I've still gone on to this. I have Clemson fans that I still say, good for you. Your little win streak, was started by a bullshit call, and that's fine. That's totally fine. I mean, you can't win it on your own. You have to have the refs allow you to do it, and that's cool. That's it is what it is. But I just wanted to see how it went for you.
There's one guy for a while I couldn't even talk about it. It's just always bothered me. But there was a guy from Clemson. He interacts with FSU Twitter a lot. I don't know if his name is like Clemson Tom or whatever. I don't know what his name
Oh
is, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I remember them having a dialogue about it. They're like, "Man, what do you think about that time? Like, be honest. Don't you think y'all cheated us?" He's like, you mean the time the FSU player tackled our guy in the middle of the field?" And it was I don't know, it made me laugh. It was funny though, the way he laid it out. It was funny. Like, I could laugh at myself, but
Was he smiling when he
yeah,
said
that
it
was
at least?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Jeez.
yeah. He knows what it is, but that one kind of made me laugh. I love the humor in that. Like, I could poke fun at myself, but for a while I couldn't even talk about it, man. I ain't
I
like
mean,
when
yeah.
Clemson game came up, 'cause I knew every year it was gonna come up, but now I can have a conversation about it. It is what it is at this point.
God, I remember where I was like during that game. I was like, it was so crazy. But the fact that Jimbo took that fine at the end of it, stood up for you guys, like, I mean, he wasn't staying in the ACC after that. I don't think. I think that's kind of what started him down that road. I think he saw the refs. I think he saw the way that conference treated the team. Anyway, I'm not going to go there right now. I don't think we need to go there. But I just yeah, I love that moment from you guys. I mean, yeah, it went badly, but then y'all went to play Michigan, and tell me about that. How did it feel with all the announcers only be worried about one player missing from the game?
Here we go. Jabril Peppers still missing in
Real
action.
Peppers, yeah. I mean, and it's funny because Peppers, he was cold that year. I ain't gonna lie, but the
Yeah.
whole week it wasn't even about Peppers. Though they kept telling us how physical that D line and that front seven was. So we were motivated the whole entire week to show them that, man, this team ain't what y'all think they are. And we went out and we showed it. We dominated the line of scrimmage on them early, and I feel like we kind of let ourselves down that game. We should have won that game by 2+ scores, but we let our foot off the
Mm-hmm.
gas. And we got ourselves into a dogfight. But on the field, it was one of those games where it's like, you give a team that you're clearly better than a little life, and they kind of make it a game. But that was one of those games. It was never in doubt on our side because like these guys can't play with us.
Y'all set the tone against Ole Miss that first game of the year, and it was like, yeah, y'all it kind of fit the way y'all finished that thing off. Those are probably two of my favorite moments, that year, the bookend. But I guess the question I would have, I guess it could be any year. It doesn't have to be 2016 or 15 or 14, does it? But I guess what are some of your favorite moments? What would be do you have a favorite game or a favorite play, throughout your time at Florida State in particular?
The migraine game against Louisville. Yeah.
Oh, I can see
People don't
that.
know I played
Mm-hmm.
because people don't know I had like a long history of migraines from like the 5th grade. Like, so I had to have like medicine on spot when we were at Florida State, and even at the point where my freshman year at Florida State, I'm missing a lot of workouts and stuff because I'm getting migraines, and they had to find me a different medicine, and then I had to miss a few practices because of my migraine throughout my career. But for a while after that, I wasn't getting them anymore. So I'm thinking they're gone. And then we come to Louisville, and it's always weird playing over there. Like we got that year, and then the next year we go over there, we got the situation with a Haunted Hotel where players are like scared to go in their rooms because they say they see ghosts in the mirrors and things like that. It's always weird playing over there. So we get to, I believe it's either end of the first or early in the second. And I tell the trainer, I like, man, I feel the migraine coming on. You start to feel your vision get blurred, and your eyes start to get real heavy. You get a major headache, and you know it's coming on. And the thing about a migraine is, once it's coming on like that, it's the medicine's not gonna do anything. The only way to get rid of it is you gotta throw up or you gotta go to sleep. That's it. That's the only way. And I remember just about to go to the I was about to go to the training room, the locker room, and coaches literally call me in. They're like, "Hey, we got regular." So I'm like, "All right, I'm on the field." It's like I didn't even think twice about it. So I played from that quarter on to the end of the game with a migraine. But mind you, by the fourth quarter, I can't really see anymore. But Louisville had red in their jerseys. So that's the only true reason that I'm able to kind of function in the game. I can see the red on their numbers. They had the like gray jerseys that game with the red numbers.
We're
And I
talking
didn't
about
really
was that 2014 or 2015?
I think 2014. That's the year we're coming
I
back
think
every
so.
game.
Jameis's first
Yeah.
year.
Oh, okay.
Ermon
Yeah. So
Lane with the
we
big
were
play.
Yep.
Florida State was down what
Yep.
20 or something, and then
Yeah.
Yep. So that was a struggle game for me, but that was a play we had been calling the whole entire week. And we knew that once we got in the short yard situations, it was going to be wide open because of how Louisville defended in short yard situations. And then we knew it was going to be even more open because Foe started getting going that game. I don't know how many yards he had rushing that game, but like, man, this play going to be wide open. It's 4th and 1. They're going to be all in for this play. It's either 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1, I don't remember. But they called a boot play, and we know it's going to be wide open. But in my head, I'm like, dang, can't see. Like, but I ain't finna say nothing. Like, shoot, if I catch the ball, I'm gonna score. So we run the play, and in my mind, I'm like, dang, I hope I don't have to reach for the ball. Like all these things going through my head, and I just put my arms out. Like people watch the video, not realizing what's taking place. Like I don't try to catch the ball in my hands or anything. I put my arms out. I'm like, dang, I hope he hit me in the chest with the ball. And literally, I'm just got my hands out waiting for it to hit me, and I just grasp it fast as soon as I feel it hit me, and I turn around and I have O'Leary and Shad Green blocking for me. 2 blockers. And I don't know it's only one defender in the end zone. Like, I got a migraine. Vision's blurred. It's dark out there. So I thought it was 3 defenders in the end zone. So I get up. I'm running. I think I see 3. I cut all the way back to the middle of the field. And my teammates, you'll see the video. Go back and look at Nick. He's like, he turns around like, what the heck? So I'll cut back to the middle of the field. I still score. But my teammates like, man, why you cut back? I couldn't really see what was going on. Like even after the game, everybody like, Fred, man, you won the game. You won the game. Ask him. I'm laying down on the bus, sleep, just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with this migraine.
Man,
But
that's
that's my
like
favorite moment for sure.
that's like the I don't know. That's that like most people have that story from high school, but yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and yeah, that's you're just ready for that thing to be over with, wasn't you? By the time you got to the end zone, that
Yeah.
was
I had an interview after the game too. And it was like, man, I don't really want to talk, man. All these and they got all those bright lights in your face. That's the worst thing you can have while you got a migraine.
oh yeah. But to see all them Louisville players with their head in their hands, I mean, that was pretty much that was nighty night. That was all she wrote. Good night, Irene. That was a classic game. There were so many classics. It seemed like every week it was like an instant classic. That 2014 year was rough on the ticker for us fans. I'll tell you that. It was
the
I was at
Miami
the
game
Boston
that year
College
was
game that
wild.
year, and it was like
No, I think it was the Miami game was the missed kick, right?
That was
it all blends
what 20,
together.
2016, right?
I'm not sure
Oh,
which
are
one
we
she's
talking
talking about.
2014 or 2016?
Yeah, we were
Now
talking
I'm
2014. Yeah,
okay. 2014. Okay.
that was the
2014
breakout year,
Miami
baby.
game.
Yeah, but
2014 Miami game.
yeah, well, that was one where Jalen was behind him clapping, right?
Yeah,
That was
That was
2014.
2016. Yeah.
Was
No,
it?
2014 was 2014 is with Jalen clapping.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jalen
my
had
fault.
that.
Yeah.
Jalen went off, and then
Oh
Dalvin.
yeah,
That was
that's
his
right.
coming out game in Miami.
Clive Wolford.
Yep.
That's right, Clive
Yep.
Wolford. What? I guess I'm just thinking of his interception over the middle in 2016. But yeah, that's good shit, man. That was a really bad time for Miami at a really great time for Florida State. Do you have a favorite Miami moment? Like just a favorite,
Ooh.
hit on somebody, just your favorite memory? Like you said, I guess it's not the same because y'all just dominated them. But you were 8-0, right? I guess you never lost to Florida or Miami in your time at Florida State. Pretty rad. Not very many people can say that.
Yeah, I don't really got a favorite Miami moment because really, I think every time we played Miami, just based on the game plan and what they were going to do, I knew my reps on offense were going to be limited. We're spreading it out that game. So I wasn't really involved heavily with the Miami games outside of my senior year. I was, heavily involved in the game plan, but I don't really got too many crazy memories from that. I just remember everything. I remember everything they would do to us whenever we came into the games. Like I think was it 2016? We come in, they throwing stuff at the bus, shaking the bus, trying to knock. And I'm talking about like they really getting movement. It's like, dang, this bus may tip over. And it's like, all right, let's go. Like we chilling, we listening to our music and stuff. But immediately, like you get into another mode, then it's like it's wartime. Like they got my mind right now. And just anytime we played them, you knew what time it was. But Miami, Florida, the hatred we got for them, man, it's always good getting those wins.
Do you have one that you
Facts.
hate more? I know everybody likes to ask. Do you have one that you hate more?
The
Florida or
Danielle
Miami?
Kelly trademark question: is it Florida or is it Miami? Which one is the rivalry
Me
there?
personally, I'm from Polk County, so we're a big Florida Gators area. So Florida for sure for me, because that's what you got to hear all day, every day. And then just I feel like even though we don't like Miami, that was still a little bit of respect there with them. With Florida, there's no level of respect at all for each other. We don't like each other at all. And you see that come out like when Florida is losing in the season. Like I think one year they were like 4-6, or I don't know, three, whatever this record was.
4-8.
No, 4-8,
4-8.
4-8. So
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
but they
Bobby.
still show up. They still show up. Florida fans show up. Let Miami go 4-8, and then they got Florida State on the schedule. Their fans not coming to the game. So
No,
that
they don't go to the
Florida and
games
Florida State
anyway.
game is always going to be intense, regardless.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I guess we can start to get into a little bit of the current iteration of Florida State if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're a Jimbo guy. You kind of was there at the end right before everything kind of fell apart. But then you get Willie Taggart in, very short, but 2020 to right here at 2024, it's been pretty awesome. We don't have to get into all the old stuff. We can later, if we stay on that long, we get into calls and stuff. But I guess my main question is your get started on what do you think about Norvell and where he's got the program headed right now before we get into the particulars, I guess.
Yeah, Norvell should have had everybody bought in last year. Just wait the growth that he shown. If you still talking like you're just hating at this point. Because I mean he's shown that he can do it, and even every single year when it looks like they're not gonna bring it together, like it looks like they're not gonna put it together. Like I remember there were so many questions heading into this season, like, oh, what are we gonna do? We're losing these guys, and then you go 13-0. So, man, every single year he finds a way to respond, and this team is taking that identity. Like, no matter what adversity comes your way, we're gonna respond. We're gonna find a way to respond, and that's one thing I love about him. The culture that he's built, that the identity that this team has built under him. Like the guy that you have on that shirt, Jordan Travis. He's a big part of that as well. But yeah, I'm excited about it. Like, I don't have. I know a lot of people that every year you're gonna have questions. Oh, it's gonna be the same team, but it's like, man, at this point, this I'm whatever he doing, I'm rocking with it because I done seen like the formula he got, that recipe, whatever he putting in that soup over there, it's hitting. So I'm
Mhm.
rolling with that.
Absolutely. That's where I've gotten to the point. It's